Right, hello everyone, hello, how you doing? You alright? Oh, great, glad to hear it, that's lovely. Welcome to, I'm pretty sure it's episode 6 of season 2 of Something About Rhyme. And today we've got a guest in, as every episode of this series has. And our guest today is, I mean, you can see him, so you don't need me to introduce him. But in case you don't know who he is, his name is Freddie Scott Miller, a.k.a. Cruger, with a C. And he is the co-founder of Don't Flop, battle rapper, coming up probably, nearly even 15 years, something like that.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah.
Since 19 and I'm 30 now, so...
That's nuts.
31.
Yeah, quite a while then.
Yeah.
We might have a little conversation about that.
I forget my age. Yeah, 31.
Battle rapper for, let's say between 10 and 15 years. Probably one of the most inventive writers, I'd say, that we've had, and from the UK, certainly from the battle rap scene, and someone who has certainly influenced me in the way that I write and my rhyme schemes and structure and all kinds of things like that. Very, very happy to get you on the show, mate. How you doing?
Good, man. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on the show, man. I've been seeing what you've been doing. I like this. You made this season 2 with video calls starting with old Robbie Williams.
I did that stupid thing though, where I said, "Oh, it's a new season," but I didn't take a break. So there's not normally you have at least a month between it, and I just went straight into the next episode. So that
it makes sense though that there's a difference between it. And I think it's good that you're bringing a visual to it. And
cheers,
it's cool that you can just do these on Zoom now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It makes so much sense. Yeah. Also, I suppose this is the first or second episode of the thing that I wanted to do, which was my favourite rapper's favourite rapper. One was you, as in my favourite battler, and then your one is Pat Stay, and then hopefully we can get Pat Stay on to talk about someone else. But
that'd be amazing, man.
That would be sick.
Yeah. But I was honoured. Thanks for doing it as well, man. The episode about me, man. Going through my bars as well, because I honestly don't remember any of my old bars. You just forget them. Once you've written them, you just kind of, I don't know. It's always a reminder. When you quote them, I was like, oh shit, I've completely forgot about all of that.
Man, I'm fucking sick. Do you not ever watch your old battles back?
No, I do when I'm doing a battle. But I haven't done that in so long. But usually when I'm preparing for a battle, I watch my old battles back because you kind of need to get familiar with how you are. It inspires you to kind of say, oh yeah, I can do it because I've done it before.
Yeah, that's great that you do that. Me and Theo do that every time. Every time we have a 2-on-2, we watch back all of our stuff.
Yeah, I watch myself more than the opponent now. Yeah. But occasionally, I'll watch an old battle. But there's so many that I haven't watched in ages. But yeah, it is fun to watch back and reminisce and stuff. Because I forget about the stuff that I've written and stuff, and it's always oh yeah, I remember. Coming up with that.
Do you ever listen back to your old music as well, music that you've done?
Yeah, I do, but just if I'm in a sort of mood where I'll just want to reminisce. It's like looking at old photos or something. Do you know what I mean?
This is what me and Theo always say, because for me and Theo, it's vignettes of our friendship over the last 10 years. It's sort of stages of where we were at the time, and we look back on it like a photo album, going, oh mate, this is how we were writing about 6 years ago. Look how shit we
I know. Were. It really does. It captures time.
Yeah,
the time that you wrote in.
Thing.
Yeah. But and the other thing is I don't know, with me anyway, sometimes some things I kind of cringe over, or I'm I wish I didn't say that, or I wish I, you know what I mean? So it makes you not want to watch it as much. Yeah. Because there's little things you think about, but most of the time,
there's a battle that so I'm doing the watch me thing on Patreon, where I watch back my old battles and stuff, and I had Theo on to watch. We did watch us, and we watched back the bad bars. But I've been trying to get him to watch back over the Mickey Worthless and Double L battle, but he won't. He's too freaked out by it that he literally won't sit in front of it and watch it. Yeah. And I was like, oh no, it makes so much sense. That's our first battle, so we should work on that. And he's like, no, I can't.
Yeah. So I get it. But you kind of have to detach yourself from it, really, and not take it so seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that it is just a fucking battle. We take ourselves too seriously, but we were too I don't know what the word is, but just like over our own battles we're too
precious.
Yeah. But like really, if you take it from a fan's perspective, you just watch it and like, yeah, it's just a battle or a track or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's
exactly.
just like, yeah, shouldn't take it so seriously.
Wicked. So yeah, as I say, I've got you on because we did the my favourite battler's favourite battler, or rapper's favourite rapper. And you chose Pat Stay to be yours. So tell us why Pat Stay is your favourite battler.
I don't know, man. I feel like he's just he's got like a good mix of like clown angles. He takes really good angles on people. He really breaks people down, which is something I sort of tried to do as well. And he's got a good mix of like going between like clowning someone and going like serious and just like straight bars.
Yeah.
And he's just got good wordplay, good punchlines. He's funny. Do you know what I mean? He's just like he's always, since the first time I've seen his sort of King of the Dot battles, I always just straight away thought he was sick. So
yeah,
I just thought that was the first thing that came to my mind. But really, there's loads of people I could pick, and especially with the multi-syllable thing, like. Pat Stay uses multi-syllables, but I don't think it's like a big strength of his. Like, he uses it, but it's
very loose with it. I remember speaking to him once about this because it was when me and Theo went over to Canada to do the compliments match with him and Roan.
Yeah.
And we were talking to him about, and he said sometimes he gets a bit bored by like the exactitude of rhymes and how like everyone wants multi-syllables to fit exactly. And so he was like, sometimes it's just like. It's more freeing to do something that loses a syllable or adds in a syllable or changes the sound a bit, or even a monosyllabic rhyme.
I agree, and it sounds very natural when he does it.
Yeah, it never sticks out. I never like. There are some battlers who could do that, and you'd cringe at it because you're like, oh, they don't even know how to multi. But you know that he's done it so well that he's just sort of playing with the form. And there's a thing that I think like it's like do you watch Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did. I watched it up until like the Cell Saga.
Right. In the most recent one, there's like a thing called Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
And it's when you get like so strong that you like evolve beyond form, so you're not even thinking of the stuff you're doing anymore. You're just doing it automatically, and that's kind of how I think of Pat Stay. He's just like automatically writing these things. He always says he writes so quick. He writes stuff on the way to an event and stuff like that. Yeah. And like, I think he's just at that point where he's kind of mastered the art, and he can just sort of do it in his sleep. So he'll just write the most effective thing for whatever the situation is. But yeah, I think I'd put him up there with in the same kind of space that you put him up there with. Like, he really
it's just when I was getting quotes for this, because I watched some of his battles back, and I realised, because I was trying to find examples where it's just about the multi specifically, like how he rhymed it and what's cool about it, but I found that most of his strong points was like just punchlines or just like, or the way he says, I don't know, just like
the confidence behind it, the performance value. I mean, performance has got to be his strongest point. Is just like the way that he can sell literally any line and make it amazing is really impressive. But he does have some standout multi moments. Like I remember, I don't know if this will be in your list, but when he goes, "I've lost my mind. Can't even stop it with antipsychotics the doc prescribes. I've shared a therapist with Arabic terrorists and Eric Harris from Columbine."
Ooh,
I love that.
I wish I found that one. That is a great example.
Even on that one, he drops a syllable because he goes, "I've shared a therapist with Arabic terrorists and Eric Harris."
Yeah.
So he drops a syllable there, but you don't care. It just sounds.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't.
cool.
It doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't. Especially with internals and stuff. It sounds like quite. It kind of makes the flow better because it's like you're still playing with the same sounds, but you're just it's just not as like It's just like it's sort of playing around with it, which I like. Which I think he does in a few examples that I got. Which battle was that from that you said that?
I've got a feeling that was possibly against Thesaurus.
Right, yeah, because he's got so many battles. It's too many to watch all of them. So
yeah, I know. Yeah. And what's good about him is he's one of the few funny rappers, because I think like obviously like he is just a battler, but like he does err on the comedy side a bit more than most people do. I think from Canada, and he's one of the funny rappers who's really managed to keep relevant the whole time. through, like since whenever he was battling in the Elements League, when he was still pretty funny then, to now, when he has sort of changed up his style a little bit, but it's not changed up, he's just improved it. He's just like developed on it and worked on it and got to a point where he's now making punchlines that are just relevant to now. And also, like, I know it's a minor point, but the way that he dresses is fucking sick. Like, he looks like... This is the whole thing about, like, battlers should be, like, characters. Individual. And he's got, like, this own style. He's got his own, like, fashion sense. He's got his own, like, performance. He's got his... Everything about him, like, is that's what makes him one of the best battlers. And it's the same with you. Like, you've got a style, you've got a look, you've got an image, you've got a sound. Everyone who is, like... in the upper echelons of battlers has their own unique sort of like character, and I think that's such an important point.
Definitely, man. He gets it, man, and it's weird. It's not really like I don't think it's like I think it's just like a natural thing where it's just like,
it's not conscious. It's just who he is. Yeah,
exactly. But
all right,
man.
Cool. Let's see. How many examples did you find, by the way?
Like 4 or 5.
Yeah, sick. All right. Do you have an order, or are you just going random?
I don't have an order, and to be honest, like they're like big chunks, but I'm just going to take little bits from them. Because, the whole. It's actually the schemes go on longer, but I'm just going to take little bits from them.
Yeah, sick. All right. Go for your first one. Let's see your first one.
Okay. Well, I like this one where he goes, "It's so effortless, no pressure, it's nothing. I don't sweat the shit. Clothes fresh, Rolex, gold necklace. Yeah, sex machine, battery sold separate."
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And it goes on longer, but like I just like that one because that's like an example where it's got the internals like clothes fresh, Rolex, gold necklace. But it's like he's still doing that scheme, but then he's got 2 ones in between.
Yeah.
And it goes on though, after that, he goes something like, "On the flow wrestling, cold stepping since 07, been wrecking it, watch, I'm so dexterous, I flip flows just like this, yo, check this shit." And then he goes into a whole nother scheme, but I just
and
like that.
He does what he says, I flip flows just like this, and then goes into another thing.
Exactly, yeah. And I like that, another little internal, cold stepping since 07, been wrecking it.
Nice.
Yeah. And like 07, been wrecking it, I'm so dexterous. It's not perfect, but it just sounds good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like even when he says what was it? Say it again, that line.
Cold stepping since 07, been wrecking it. Watch, I'm so dexterous.
The wrecking it, even though it's like that's sort of like a miniature internal, but just at the end of the scheme that he's working with, which is unusual. Usually, if you're going to do something like that, you work with the first bit, like he's doing with the 07 do dada, but then he does the wrecking it. But like, he it's not perfect, but it's something about the fact that he doesn't care is cool. I think that's what it is.
He swags it out. Yeah,
the swag. Like I was trying to avoid the word, but there's no other word for it. Like it's just the fucking swag of the man, where he's just
definitely.
He just knows that he's above it. He looks like he's looking down on it, and he's like blessing you with his presence. So that all that stuff is amazing. And like with the necklace, like that's kind of a cool thing to do as well. Like I remember him doing
I'd say necklace. But like,
yeah, exactly. I think he probably does. Like in normal day to day, just says necklace, but he makes it work, even though that's like a force in a sort of your traditional.
It's crazy, isn't it? How he kind of flipped that and he made it sound like swaggy, but like
gold necklace. Yeah, and he's doing all this and he's so good, man. He's there's like a lot of nice internals. Internals is one of the things that Pat Stay uses quite often, like one of the more common techniques that he uses. Like, sort of like a special move sometimes, I think. Like, he'll just sort of bust it out. Because when he's doing the more conversational ones, he's pretty standard. Like, he'll just rhyme at the end and rhyme at the end and rhyme at the end. Yeah. But then when he gets there must be something around like the attitude of doing an internal that sort of like is present. I've just remembered that I fucking forgot to do the quiz answers for last week's quiz.
So cool. Yeah, jump into that.
Let me do that right quick. All right.
I want to know if I can get some of these.
Yeah, I want to see if you can as well. These I've started taking them from the Patreon quizzes. I do them on the Patreon every 3 days, so I've just got loads and loads and loads from there. And if anyone wants to go onto the Patreon, it's patreon.com/shuffle_t. But here we go. So, okay, right. The first one, Freddie, was Human Rights Act. That was the rhyme. And
Human Rights Act?
Yeah, Human Rights Act. and the clue was how cults end.
Suicide Pact.
Hey, immediate. All right, the next one was kitchen roll, and the clue was Great British Bake Off. And you don't have to know the show that well, you just have to know one of the things that they use.
Kitchen roll?
Yeah, kitchen roll, and the clue is Great British Bake Off.
A whisking bowl?
Oh, it's mixing bowl.
Mixing bowl, yeah.
A mixing bowl, yeah. I'll give you that, that was good, that was impressive. Yeah. Right, Ticketmaster, and the clue is Australian Bay.
Australian Bay?
Yeah, B-A-Y, yeah.
I don't think I got this one.
Sydney Harbour.
Sydney Harbour, okay, yeah.
And also, Theo said it's close to, there's another bay called Princess Charlotte, which is really close as well.
Okay, yeah.
All right, stick to the question, and the clue is different name and address.
Different name and address?
Yeah.
Stick to the question. Go on.
Witness protection.
Witness protection.
I also really like rigged an election. I like that as well. Like something like that. All right, stinging nettle, and the clue is balance bubble.
Balance bubble?
Yeah.
Stinging nettle. I know the scheme's instrumental and all disrespectful, but I can't think what you're talking about.
It's spirit level.
Spirit level. Oh yeah.
The balance
bubble. Yeah.
All right, and then chicken burger, and the clue is computer game.
Ooh, chicken burger.
I suppose you'd say the answer more like chicken burger. Sort of like that. That's how it comes out as the...
No, I ain't got it.
That one's Prince of Persia.
Oh, Prince of Persia, yeah.
And then winter thermals, and the clue is big, fat, famous British bloke.
Winter thermals?
Yeah.
Oh. Damn, I really want to get these ones, but I'm not getting it.
Right, that's Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill, yeah. Ninja Turtle as well.
Yeah. And then weapon of choice, and the clue is mythical woman.
Weapon of choice.
What happens when you hear mythical woman, weapon of choice? What happens in your brain? What's like going on in your head?
Straight away with weapon of choice, I thought of Enter the Void, because I think I tried to rhyme that before. I had a lyric where I was like, "Enter the void, like Pesci, my pen is my weapon of choice." And I was doing the scheme, but I can't remember what I rhymed it with. But I probably didn't get that anyway. So mythical woman. I don't know. I'm thinking like the X-Men character or something. I can't think who you're talking about.
It's more like ancient Greece.
Medusa. I don't really know my ancient weapon of.
So it's Helen of Troy.
Helen of Troy. Yeah, I wouldn't have remembered that. That's a good one though. I didn't even have that for my scheme. That's a great one.
Cheers, man. And then Peggy Mitchell. There's two more. So Peggy Mitchell, and the clue was a type of cake.
Peggy Mitchell, lemon drizzle.
Yeah, boy. And then Hair and Beauty, and the clue was Scream.
Scary Movie.
Yeah, boy. Smashed it. There you go. You brought it back at the end.
Yeah.
I love that one. Hair and Beauty, Scary Movie. I've always liked that.
Nice.
There's one there's a shop that's just called Hair and Beauty opposite near my house, and I was looking at it for ages, and I couldn't clock one, and I was like, oh, fuck, Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we've done that bollocks. What's your next choice?
Okay. So this goes straight after this bit, by the way, where he goes, I flip flows like, yo, check this shit. Then he goes into murder for hire. Late night burglarizer. I creep the streets and old ladies grip their purses tighter. Mark Maguire with the bat, split your wig in half, swing it so fast I make fitted caps turn to visors. And then he goes on to say, I black out and all I hear is screams and a church's choir, walking through the circle of burning fire like a circus tiger.
that's so sick.
So yeah, he carries that scheme for a while, man. The burn and fire like circus tiger and church's choir. That's like they're solid phrases, the kind of ones you'd like write in your dictionary or something.
Yeah,
you know
what I mean? Yeah, definitely.
And I also like the internal with there's a lot of internals like with the bat, split your wig in half, swing it so fast, and make fitted caps turn to visors.
That's something he does a lot as well. It's like take the internal and make it go straight into the main, like the showcase rhyme.
Yeah, he'll like use up a whole bar where he switched to scheme, but then by the fourth bar he actually brings it back to so it's like a B A rhyme scheme, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, that's super impressive, man. He's got like a real, just a natural feel for it. Like, is that when you're writing? How, when it comes to like writing an internal, which you do quite often as well, I'd say. What's like? Do you ever have like a conscious thing like, oh, I should put an internal here for the sake of it, or is there ever a thing like, because internals are kind of just there because you want them to be, really. Like, there's no other reason. The rhyme is always at the end. It's more like, there's an opportunity to write something here. So like, what do you think when you're coming up with an internal? Do you like get to a certain point and think this is getting a bit boring, I need to jazz it up, or do you think what?
Not really. I think it's just you just need to. I mean, like it's not all. You got to be quite lucky to clock an internal and still say what you want to say. That's the most important thing, is saying what you want to say.
Of course.
So that's what you got to do first. When you rhyme, you got what you want to say. Then you got to rhyme it. You got to think of the multi for it. You got to think of how you want to rhyme it. And that's the kind of bit where it's like putting a puzzle together. Do you know what I mean? You're just choosing different words, like what could fit where and how you could fit it all into 2 lines or 4 lines or whatever. And if there's an opportunity where I see like I can explain something in the middle where it's like I can make this rhyme with each other, I'll just go for that. Do you know what I mean? But like most of the time, you won't be that lucky where there'll be as many rhyming words in there.
Yeah, but, I think that's a really interesting point. Is that a lot of the time it is fortuitous. It is like you're writing something and then you'll notice that like maybe there's one syllable that rhymes with another syllable in the setup, and then you're like, oh, is there a way to just elongate that to a couple of syllables and make that still, like you say, still make sense?
Exactly.
At the end of the day, like you say, context or content is key. Like it has to you have to be saying what you mean in the most clear way. You don't want to overdo it. This is what I was talking to the last guest we had on, Jack Harris, and just saying like simplicity is often the best way to go. Like you don't want to overdo it and make it like, every single bell and whistle that you can find to put on it. You want it just to be plain and simple most of the time. Like that is that, like no matter how much rappers want to talk about complexity and those kind of things, most of it, like most of the best battlers seem simple because the complexity has gone into making it seem simple.
Yeah, exactly.
Like all the effort goes into making it seem like you're just talking, and then people don't realize how much goes into that. Like this is one of the reasons why I chose you as my favorite battler to talk about. Like it's because there's like, I think there is a way to interpret you as a simple battler. There's a simple writer. Like when you're writing and you say stuff like you look like one of those guys from Space Jam got spray tanned. There's an easy way, like that sounds like, oh, it's just rhyming 2 syllables and it's just this.
Yeah.
This. But like there is a lot that goes into that is behind the scenes. Like the closeness of the rhymes. Like Space Jam got spray tan. There's like 1 syllable between them, and like the rhythm that gives, and also the thought into making it 2 syllables is more like punchy. So like that's gonna have something behind it, and the delivery of it is a whole other thing as well. So like I think people often mistake complexity for talent, whereas actually the real talented people are talented at making the complexity seem simple.
I appreciate that you've observed that. Yeah, I appreciate that. But I think, in a verse, you kind of want to have a mixed bag of stuff. You don't want everything to be an internal. You kind of want to flip flows around. So 1 second you're doing this, like, little 4-bar setup. Then you do a little 2 bars here. And then you want to keep changing it up. But, you know what I mean? Like, but you're really good at just, like, carrying like a scheme for a whole round. But even in that, you'll find different inventive ways of, like... Do you know what I mean? You'll switch between different ways of how you bring it back to the scheme. Yeah. So that's what it's kind of like. I think that's I love internals, but obviously you need it makes them more special when they're a bit spread out anyway.
Yeah, definitely. They're like a little flourish that you've got to put every now and then. If you overdo them, then they'll lose their effect. And that's kind of like anything. Like, you know, like any technique you can possibly use in writing. You don't want to do like assonance all the way through, or you don't want to do like, I don't know, not assonance, I didn't mean that, like alliteration all the way through or something like that. Like alliteration sounds good, but if the whole thing was the same letter, you'd get so bored of it so quick. So yeah, it's all about variety.
I think alliteration is something that gets slept on as well. That can really help a fucking bar, the way it sounds nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. It's like, I do think some of those more traditional techniques get a bit ignored sometimes. Like when it comes to battling, I mean, I think you're right. Like those things do help. They do make an impact. They are age old for a reason. You know, they do enforce a point and make it more strong.
But it sounds nice on the ears, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like if it's gonna sonically have an effect on you, then why not use it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your next one?
Okay, let's see. Okay, I thought this was an interesting one that he did against Ilmac.
Oh yeah.
He did. He said like, tear you apart, stuff you in the trunk, head hang out the car like a balloon when you just get married, then pop it like Mario Kart. Battle mode. Patterns so scattered, but no matter if they were wrote backwards, they'd still be the same shit like a palindrome. So he's really kind of playing with the patterns there. But what I thought was, because obviously like he's got one concept where they just got married, then pop it like a... Let's break it down actually, because I'm assuming this is the first rhyme, even though this isn't what I'd rhyme Mario Kart with. Tear you apart. I think that's part of the rhyme.
Yeah,
because tear you apart.
He's like Mario Kart and tear you apart. Isn't
exactly.
He?
So but then also he goes, head hang in the car. That kind of rhymes as well. Hang in the car.
Yeah.
It's like tear you apart, stuff you in the trunk, head hang in the car like a balloon when you just get married, then pop it like Mario Kart. Battle mode. But that's weird because he's like extending the sentence to past the rhyme.
Yeah.
But then after battle mode, he goes, patterns so scattered, but no matter if they were wrote backwards, they'd still be the same shit like a palindrome. Which I think is interesting because wrote backwards and palindrome, if it was backwards wrote,
half multi,
palindrome, do you know what I mean? Palindrome, backwards wrote. So it's like he kind of flips the thing like a palindrome.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
So I never thought about it when I heard it. Like, obviously I thought it sounded cool, but when I actually like took it down as a quote, I was like, oh wow, you can actually break this down into deeper levels.
Wow, that's really fucking impressive, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's intentional, isn't it? Yeah,
I think so. And it just sounds cool the way he like says like, because it's like oh shit, where you gone? Are you still here? I thought my email just popped over the thing. I thought I lost you. Yeah, so he says, tear you apart, stuff you in the trunk, head hang in the car like a balloon when you just get married. Like, that's a bar, and then he goes, then pop it like Mario Kart, and he's like, it's like an extra bit of the bar. Battle mode. Yeah. So he keeps, like, and then he says pattern so scattered, and he has scattered the kind of pattern.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I never clocked that either.
Yeah.
Pattern so scattered, but no matter if they were wrote backwards, they'd be the same shit like a palindrome.
Yeah.
Wrote backwards, that's so interesting.
I know. Backwards wrote, palindrome.
That reminds me of there's I think it's a Philip Larkin poem where in the first two lines I think he rhymes something like paradise and diaphragm.
Yeah.
And I clocked that. That's like if you say paradise backwards, it's like Sayed Daf.
Yeah.
And that rhymes with diaphragm. So like, that's a really interesting thing, like inverted rhyme schemes.
Yeah.
Because like it's one of those weird ones where like you definitely don't notice it on the time when you're listening to it, but you sort of have a recognition that it sounds good. And I think me and Theo tried to do it at one point.
I can remember. I think I know Rhyme Asylum used to do that because I remember like Cyclone saying something about like holding mics. I can't remember the exact quote. I wish I had it up, but I remember he's like he does it. He's flipping between the two rhymes. He's like holding mics, or with mind control, but it's like switching between mind control and mics nice. I hold. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but yeah, man. I can't remember the full quote, but I've definitely noticed other people do that thing before, where you flip the reverse multi, but juggle both of them at the same time, kind of thing.
Yeah, I've found that lyric, and it goes. Hang on. It goes, I don't hold microphones. Close my eyes and told the mic to float with mind control. Exit Earth, climb in lightning bolts. You rappers got no backup like Broken Sky remotes.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
So Broken Sky as well. That's still in Broken Sky remotes.
Yeah. That's crazy.
When you talk about multi-syllables, Rhyme Asylum were really on some shit.
Mate, it's like astounding what they were doing and the consistency they had with it. Like the level of talent from like every single member. I'm trying to get Skirmish on here to talk about it actually. But like the for anyone who's listening who doesn't know who Rhyme Asylum is, just like go listen to. They've got an album on Spotify and they've got another album that you can find. I'm sure from like probably. What's it called? What's that website that everyone uses? SoundCloud. It's probably on SoundCloud, but it's definitely
on YouTube. I think it's on
as
YouTube.
Well, yeah. And the levels of rhyming is insane, and the wordplay. To be fair, like they had a really original and like very them type of wordplay, which was a lot of it was based around like phrases and terms that you would use in everyday life. And sort of flipping those on their heads. They really had an amazing hold on that. But their usage of rhyming is fucking crazy. And I guess they were sort of like contemporaries of yours, right, Fred? Like they were coming up at the same time that you were writing. What was did you have any interaction with them at the time? Like what was your...
Yeah. So they were kind of like, when I first started, when I was like 16, I started going to this open mic called Deal Real.
Right.
And it was in like Carnaby Street, and it was like, this is my, because I was only 16, underage and stuff, this is my first example of like going to actual like, social kind of things with rappers and stuff, do you know what I mean? Like there was always cyphers outside and it was an open mic and it was just in a little record shop. It was like a legendary spot. And this would have been in like fucking 2005, 2006. It was like a whole different time, do you know what I mean? But this was my introduction into like, because I was like, I was a fan of hip hop, of course. But when I started going there and interacting in cyphers, that's where I met Rhyme Asylum, Children of the Damned, and a few other like UK hip hop people. And they were really like, Rhyme Asylum were like super lyrical, and it kind of like, I got super inspired when I heard them like rapping the cyphers and stuff. And they kind of really the strictness that they applied to it, and like the definitely had an impact on me. And I think that's definitely a big influence on me, Rhyme Asylum, to be honest. But like I was friends with them, I came up with them when they were releasing all their albums and stuff, and it was they were fucking on some shit, man. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh man, if I just wish they were still making music together.
I know.
But I've heard some of Skirmish has been writing some solo stuff. I don't know if you've heard, but like it's sounding really fucking good.
Yeah.
It's like got an element of their old stuff, but also sort of like a Royce da 5'9" kind of feel to it, which is really nice. Yeah. But yeah, I mean their stuff was incredible. Like I basically my lockdown listening has been Rhyme Asylum, just sort of like revisiting it, because I remember listening to them a few years ago, because obviously I got into hip hop a bit late. Like I was like on the Eminem train for so long that it took me ages to hop off it and actually like start listening to other artists, and that was till about 5 years ago. So I it's sort of like, sometimes I imagine it as like, imagine if today I decided to get into football, and then it's like, right, well, you have to learn about the history of football, you have to learn about all the teams, you have to learn all the names, and like go back, and it would just take ages and it would be useless. But like rap is one of those things where it is kind of worth putting the time in, and so I listened to Rhyme Asylum a few years ago just to sort of like tick it off, and I didn't really appreciate it enough at the time, and then coming back to it now, I'm just like, fucking hell, these guys are amazing writers. It is nuts.
You hear the punchlines and stuff and the wordplay. It's crazy.
Like, oh man, if they were about now, I think they'd be making some like really groundbreaking music even now.
They were groundbreaking, definitely. But yeah, UK hip hop in general, especially when I came into it, would kind of expose me to like a strictness with multi-syllables that I hadn't really seen. Like obviously there was Eminem who always done it. Big L, which I was a big fan of, because he was punchlines. Big L was
very strict
with
rhymes, but Eminem isn't. Like he plays
Eminem
all over the place, doesn't he? So that's an interesting.
But early Eminem was definitely a lot more kind of on it.
Yeah, in fact, like the Infinite LP is like very strict.
Yeah.
To the point where he makes things rhyme if they don't, sort of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, other people like Low Key, which I listened to
Yeah.
in school. He was like always using multis. That inspired me a lot.
Yeah.
Jest.
Yeah.
He's sick at multis. Maestro.
Yeah.
There was like Chester P, Doc Brown, Young Gun. All these guys were amazing at like using multis and like, but you know they did it in a way where they weren't forcing right. It was just all kind of natural. But it kind of like opened my mind to like kind of made me want to write like that. Even Kalashnikov was weird because he used to kind of like do multis, but then he'll rhyme something completely like off, but it sounded cool. And it's just there's so many different styles and ways you can do it. It kind of just really kind of opened me up. Like when you first start writing, you're always copying everyone else.
Yeah, 100%.
That's always what happens. So like they were the people I was copying, the UK hip hop rappers.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like there's many examples. One to pull up an example. I always love this. What Possessed said in Rhyme Asylum. I always like this when he said, "No one's fucking with this. Don't just button your lip. Close it shut with a zip. Sew it up with a stitch."
Oh, that is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah. No one's fucking with this. Don't just button your lip. And then he extends the rhyme.
Yeah.
Close it shut with a zip. Sew it up with a stitch. But I love close it shut and sew it up. And then with a zip and with a stitch. And they mean the same thing. But
yeah.
And it's all extending off the button your lip.
That is really, really fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Who says that?
Possessed,
of course, yeah.
Yeah. But Rhyme Asylum, we've got so many quotes for days. You can literally just have to listen to it.
I love the... I think I was talking about it the other day. I swear by the whites of my eyes, the imagery I'm spitting is so vivid it would bring sight to the blind.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's so nice because every rhyme... Like, whites of my eyes, sight to the blind.
Yeah.
So perfect. Like, you're rhyming about the same things. And those are always, like, you know, we know that those are when rhyme has the most effect is when you can, like you say, sew it up and close it shut. When it's the same thing or when it's, like, all on the same idea or the same, like, area of speech.
Yeah, I will say this, though. Rhyme Asylum definitely taught me about the actual phrases thing in multis.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about it until I sort of met them a lot, where the way they were like thinking of phrases that rhymed with each other and they were like perfect fucking phrases, like, you know, like the way you write your dictionary. That was the first time I was exposed to that kind of style and like, oh, that sounds cool. Do you know what I mean? Oh, wow, you've made them two rhyme together.
Yeah, yeah.
And
there is nothing more satisfying than finding two things that like two phrases that rhyme.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I have one. Oh yeah, I love it winds me up and it drives me nuts.
Oh, that is sick.
I love those.
That is nice. Yeah. That's great.
Someone had the other day. I was on one of the old quizzes I did. The clue was light and fluffy, and the rhyme was light and fluffy, and the clue was that was a phrase, and the answer was time is money, but someone else put strike it lucky. Yeah, I again those two things like they're kind of to do with money and they're both to do with money and like I fucking love when you find two phrases that rhyme or two celebrity names that rhymes or two film titles that rhyme. Anything where they're like the same genre of thing is just so satisfying.
Yeah, whenever I've been writing a scheme like Under the Ground, I always find like fucking about and mucking around.
Yeah, that's
so it means the same thing, fucking about, mucking around. And I found like about and around, there's loads of different examples of that where they can mean the same thing, but they're just like
yeah. It's like
or like mess about, F around, you know what I mean? There's ways you can flip it, but it's always like about and around. Then there's a few words like that always come up.
Yeah, it's also sort of like, for a monosyllabic one, like stick and twig. Do you know what I mean? Like those kind of things, and thin and slim.
Yes, and, exactly.
You know, there's. I love when you jump onto a rhyme scheme, and you're like, right, well, I know at least for this one syllable at the end, there's this, which all mean the same thing, and you can just reword it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love it. Right. Okay. What's your next example? Your next shout.
Okay. This one.
That last one was amazing, by the way. That palindrome thing.
That really and you know what? I just watched that this morning.
Really?
I thought, let me get another quote in. So I watched him versus Immaculate, and I caught it down. I was like, wow, that is actually like technical.
Yeah.
All right. So this is verse A verb. He says, I just got the chills I'm back to my salvation. Heart pound racing, my pupils dilating. The house is shaking, the crowd is making them growl faces. Ground breaking, your foundation is now caving. Act out a lie and I'll blacken your eye like a Dalmatian. Yeah, so another eternal at the end, you know what I mean? Act out a lie and I'll blacken your eye like a Dalmatian. Obviously dilating is wild, I would know. My pupils dilating. But he makes it sound good. And I like the house is shaking, the crowd is making them growl faces. Do you know what I mean? Extended out there in the middle, and then ground breaking, your foundation is now caving. That's just nice.
Yeah, that's very nice, isn't it? And it's also like it's a usage of that weird thing that happens with the letter L as well. Like Dalmatian is not Dalmatian. Yeah. Like house, ground, all these sounds that he's using. Yeah. But there's something weird that happens when you have like Al Qaeda. Sounds like you're saying owl.
Yeah,
like O-W-L.
I know.
And it's sort of like, it's one of these rules that is definitely there. Like malformation, it happens all the time. It's definitely there, but like we never know what to do with it in the book. Like when we come up with something that's like, say it was Al Qaeda and it was like had the House of Tina or whatever. Like we're always like, well, it does sound like that, but it doesn't look like it. So like, can you still put it in the book? Because is that strict enough? Although most people would say like an owl, some people would say owl, you know, very strictly.
Yeah, like it's one of them grey areas, I think.
It is like when you're performing, like absolutely all day, every day, you just say it how it sounds, so you do it. But in terms of writing it down and seeing it looks a bit like a off kilter.
Yeah, because I always thought Al Qaeda, I think the old me would have thought I would have rhymed it with like massive favour or, you know what I mean, like rapping greater. Yeah. But I thought Al, because I thought A, I mean Al. I mean, even though the L is so off-putting, but then when I hear people say it's like Al, it is actually like Al Qaeda, like House of Fraser, that's one.
Yeah, Power Ranger.
Oh yeah, I know you got this one. Yeah. But I know what you mean, it's one of them grey areas, definitely. I still don't know where I sit with it.
Yeah, me neither. And also like well, it's actually this the example you just gave is an example of two things that I don't know where I sit on all the time. And the first one is that, and the other one is I don't know if this is as much of an issue for you, because I don't want to say accent, because it's not accent, it's just your voice. Like everyone has a different voice and they make different choices in how they pronounce things. Yeah. But in this one, you know, heart pound racing, like IN. Yeah. And even on the example, I'm looking at the lyrics now, and they've put the apostrophe behind racing to make it more okay. That he's rhyming it with things like foundation, because like for me that stands out when I say it. Foundation and pound racing, like ing and ending. Yeah. But you know, when I hear him do it, it doesn't matter. When I hear you do it, it doesn't matter. Yeah. When I hear Frankie do it, it doesn't matter. When I hear Theo do it, it does matter. So like, it just completely depends on who's saying it. But I'm not in like good conscience. So when I'm doing the daily rhyme challenges, I won't sort of like upvote one that has the ing, because it just doesn't work.
Doesn't sound right to you. Yeah.
No. And
I don't really pronounce my G's, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you say, and also you have like a. Just the way you say it. I remember thinking once that you would probably be all right rhyming like Westwood and pregnant. Like if I said pregnant, but I think you could say like pregnant.
I wouldn't rhyme pregnant with Westwood.
But I think you could get away with it.
Yeah, I'd rhyme pregnant with, you know, essence or whatever.
Yeah, but there's every day when someone does it on that, and it winds me up, because there are some examples that I really want to use that I can't. Because like I really wanted to do a bar about like gone into Durham, like Dominic Cummings, like but the ing and the un is too far away, so I can't use that bar. But I would love to use it.
I think you can use that bar.
Gone from London and off into Durham, like Dominic Cummings. It doesn't sit well enough with me. Like I can't.
But you need to do is think of one with an ing. To start it off with, and then we'd like a little internal bit still kind of rhymes kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. I like long distance running, and Dominic Cummings is quite nice.
Oh, that's nice. Sick.
But yeah, that example is really good. I really like the way that he does the internals. Like he doesn't really. I suppose they are still internals, but they are also the showcase rhyme. So he uses the main rhyme as internals, which is something that's really nice. The house is shaking, crowd is making them growl faces. And I suppose when he does that, which is sort of breaking the multi, it's sort of like it's almost, he uses them in a specific way here. Like they are sort of almost their separate rhyme scheme as an internal. House is shaking, crowd is making growl faces, groundbreaking. You found it. So like he is getting more strict maybe in his later years. When
I mean that is completely like he's extended the multi, but then it's still within the same rhyme scheme.
It's technically an internal.
Exactly. So that's what I like about it. I like the sort of playing around with all these different kind of. I like when it's not just strictly like a scheme, but then you've got like a little internal with an extended. I mean, like different things you can do.
Yeah.
Definitely makes it more interesting. I really like when people flip two multis together. Like, not always. I haven't got an example ready, but I just mean like, say you're doing one rhyme scheme, but then you've got another rhyme scheme going on, like kind of internally, or like you're just swapping between the two, and then like.
Yeah. Oh shit! I think I've got an example of that. I think I know that. I think Bender did it. Well, I mean, he definitely would have, but I don't know the exact. I think it's maybe versus Zach Menace. Not Zach Menace. That's his real name and then his rhyme name.
Menace,
aka Zach. That's the hangover brain working there. I'll try to find that in the background whilst we're going, because I think he's got a really nice internal thing going on, like line for line. It breaks down at the same time as having the showcase rhyme. So I'll try to find that in the background.
So like, because if you're juggling two rhyme schemes, you can start to play around. Like you're ending on one line, the end of your line is with one rhyme scheme, but then you can start switching it and using the other rhyme scheme at the end of your lines. And you can really get playful with like where you're putting the end lines. Like I always like the with rhyming as well. I don't like it being conventional. Like, do you know what I mean, all the time. I like when people can kind of break it up and do like, you do 3 bars on one rhyme scheme, and then the 4th bar you change the rhyme scheme, but then you've started a new one within that bar. Do you know what I mean? I just like all the different ways you can play with structure.
The techniques and structure. Yeah, exactly. I think it is really important. That's why I loved that one that you did with it was one of the examples I read out, actually. I wouldn't mind asking you about that. Let me find it.
The DNA one, you're going to say?
I don't know if it was what was the DNA one? What are you thinking there?
A slaughterhouse.
No, not that one. Although that one is brilliant because it's just like couplets and they're not even proper full 2 lines. I love that.
Yeah.
But no, this one was Act Like You Do, the black guy from Blue, and there's how it the rhyme scheme grows. So that was you versus Conceited, wasn't it? So let me see if I can find that quickly in the background. But the way, there was something about the way that you.
I can't remember how it starts now.
This is so popular, this battle, that the lyrics are broken into 3 parts, so that you have to go onto different pages to see them, so that they get more hits.
Oh really?
Yes.
That's dope. I didn't know that.
Act Like You Do. Oh no, you said act like twice, it turns out, because you said act like the world revolves around them as well. So repetition. Act like, well, it's not coming up. Black guy. Do you remember what round that was in? I feel
like it's my second round. I think it's my second round. It might have been first, but I think it's second. Because I remember, like, I don't know why you rap like you do. You wear spiky vests. No, you wear leather vests and have spiky shoes. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So don't talk about guns. You ain't that type of dude. Act right. Your swag's like the black guy from Blue.
Yeah.
And the sick thing about that is that that's when it goes into that scheme. But before that, you're going. The suns haven't touched like a tan line. And then you go, that's like why they don't even get their facts right. They'd be talking about AK-46s and Mac 9, so you've got this 2-syllable rhyme.
Yeah.
The way that you act might tell us that you just go out with boys like a stag night. And then what would usually happen if people were going to develop on a rhyme scheme is put things in front of it. So you'd then go like, dubba-da-bat-by, dubba-da-bat-by, dubba-da-bat-by. But you do the opposite, which is so interesting, which you never see. You put the rhyme at the front and you add things after it. So you go from stag night and act might to rap like you do, have spiky shoes. that type of do. And that's playing with format as purist in terms of the multisyllabics, because like nobody does that, and it's such a satisfying sound, and you can tell why that got a huge reaction on the day. I was actually there. I was watching it in the crowd and stuff, and the reaction was just immense to that punchline, and I think part of that is due to the tension that gets brought up by you adding to this rhyme scheme in a different way. And then people going, what's he going to rhyme with? And then you just have this really funny punchline. So
and it's good because it's just kind of it's keeping within the kind of story of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. That's something I think the reason I chose you as my favourite battler, even though there might be some battles who, like, you know, Soul, for example, I think he's maybe technically a better battler than you in some ways.
Yeah.
But I don't think there is anyone who will literally write clearer. Like, and that sounds like it's a nothing thing to say, but like that's the height of writing. There is no one who can write and get their point across clearer than you. I genuinely believe that, and rhyme in a way that never sounds forced, never sounds like you're putting too much into it. It's always exactly what you want to say, and you always stay on topic. Like, that's why I think you hold that place for me.
I appreciate that, man. I don't know what it like. I don't know. I never really think about it that deeply, but I guess it's just I am quite strict with what I write. I guess with like wanting it to portray what I'm saying first of all. Yeah. And then rhyming, like rhyming as a multi-syllable. That's just my style. I just I like multis, but then I also like playing with the formats of different. Yeah. And it's all influenced from all the types of rap I listen to, and the battlers and stuff. So I'm just a fan of the art form.
I can think of in all of your back catalogue where I thought that a multi wasn't perfect. Only one example, and I think I remember it because it was the only one. And it was in the Fresco battle, and the multi just drops off at the end. I think where you say like it's like big silly goose, tickety boo.
Yeah.
And then he said,
"Don't mind if I do."
Don't mind if I do. Yeah. And so like it goes from did-a-do to just did-a-do.
If I do. Yeah.
Which is the only example I can ever think of. And obviously it didn't matter, and like the performance of it was there, and it was so funny. And I actually say that to Ellen all the time now. Oh, don't mind if I do. And I'm quoting you.
That was actually the reason, because that was actually my catchphrase in real life.
I remember you saying,
I used to always just say, oh, don't mind if I do. So like I don't know where it started, just like on holiday or something. I was just like, it just became a thing that I just say in front of my family and my friends and stuff. So like when I found it, I was like, I've got to put this in my battle, because it might be my last battle, so I've got to put this in somehow. So yeah, I just thought, I realised it wasn't a perfect rhyme, but it didn't really matter, and that might be influenced by like Pat Stays and stuff like that, where it's not. I don't think you have to be precious about it. No, it's just it's all a style preference, really.
Yeah, 100%.
And also, I hate there being like too many like rules, because like I set myself rules, but then like you kind of want to break the rules.
Yeah.
You kind of like I don't like being in any kind of format. I like breaking out of it, and But I like rhyming words. Yeah. I like multi-syllables, so that's always going to be my style.
Yeah, 100%. Are there any other examples you can think of where you've sort of like put a joke for yourself or a joke for someone else in the bars?
Yeah, I remember.
Like me and Theo put office references all the time, which I'm sure you clock.
Yeah, this is a really old one, but against L&C, I said, you should start selling merchandise, L&C socks, and the whole reason I said that was because we actually got Rowan L&C socks. We actually, for his birthday one time, we printed L&C's face on socks. I don't remember why we did it, but that happened before we battled him. And I don't remember why that happened, but then I brought it up in the battle afterwards.
That's really funny.
I do private jokes all the time. And I think in L&C there was another private joke, but I can't remember what it was. But I did used to put like private jokes into my battles. Yeah. But the trick was making a private joke, but then making it sound like it's anyone can get it.
Yeah.
There's a different level to it, so the people around me know.
Yeah. That's really funny. All right, have you got another one? Have you got another example?
Yeah, well, I'll use this as my last example.
All right, go ahead.
It's like a whole kind of bit, but he goes against Head Ice. He goes, I'm that Scotian lion, cobra biting, East Coast giant, you can't stone Goliath. Kobe Bryant in the quarterfinals with no one by him, and he's on fire, so bright you think my brain had ultraviolet bulbs inside it. Somali pirate, get your fucking boat off my island. Bow on my side, I close one eye and you're floating beside it. The storm is arising, the planets formed in alignment. You're in the eye of a hurricane twirling inside it. Boom, you hit the ground in a vertical spiral. Barbarian, I skinned wolves and rocked their fur for survival.
That's really fucking amazing.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I think it's so good is that you actually see the progression of a rhyme scheme. Like, at the beginning, he's saying stone Goliath, and at the end, he's saying fur for survival.
Yeah.
And they just do not morphs. Sound the same, but it morphs, it mutates the whole way through.
Yeah.
And when you're listening to it, you don't notice it. You 100% think you're on the same rhyme scheme. It's like that Eminem had a track a few years ago. I think it's called Legacy. I did an episode on it, actually. It was like, I always thought the sky was falling. Is it my fault? I'm different. The way I'm differently wired's awesome. But like by the time it does the same rhyme scheme throughout the whole track, but by the time you get to the end of each verse, it's it barely sounds the same at all. But you don't notice it, and that's a real talent. Because it shows that you're being loose with it, but still sticking to the idea as well. Like, you're doing both things. You're being playful, but staying true to form at the same time, which feels like such a thing to juggle. Yeah,
and I also like when Pat flips into that style of like just like he goes a bit like kind of Scotian lion, cobra biting, like that kind of style. I like that.
Those are some of my favourite moments. In fact, that was going to be the one that I brought up. I had that in mind to bring up that one.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had, if you had any Pat Stay bars.
Well, it would definitely, like, the ones that stand out are the Arabic terrorist and Herrick terrorist, and that one, that one that you just read out, and there's a really nice one he does against Arsenal on his first one. The first Pat Stay versus Arsenal.
Yeah.
Where I think it's something like the Grim Reaper and swinging you around like a pizza or something like that. Let me find it. It's better than that.
Yeah.
He says, here we go. He goes, see, you think you're tough, but I ain't conceited though. Try to punk me around, I TKO. I could punch a hole through your chest and string your body around like a pizza dough. Put you in a sleeper hole till your breathing goes and leave you in the freezing cold till you decompose. Free your soul. Split your wig till you can see his skull. And that, from hitting him with the same stick that the Grim Reaper holds.
Oh,
so it's like there's so many nice things there, and like that's quite a strict one as well. Like he's exactly going on each one, but like. TKO.
I love the imagery in that as well, though. The pizza dough swinging your... It's just like...
And he performs it like he's doing that. And it's like, the same stick the Green Reaper holds. And like, it's so well performed, and it's such a good little like... And like there's... I love when people, again, go for the simplicity. I love when you rhyme two stressed syllables next to each other. I think it sounds so nice. I love when he does like a 3-syllable rhyme scheme, which is technically like one of the easier ones to do. Yeah. But like, just... absolutely every example is sick. So like there's and it's sort of like I like the idea of other people showing that you don't have to go that crazy with multis to be really effective. You can be simple and say exactly what you want, and it can still be insanely talented. So that's one of
pizza dough is one of them long ones. There's a lot for that rhyme scheme.
It's really rich. It's a proper rich scheme. Actually, I wonder. Hang on, I'm going to get out my book and see what we've got for pizza dough, just for a laugh.
Yeah. Even though
I like P&O, like the ferries.
Yeah. Freezing cold.
Here we go. Right, so I've got... I think we stuck to 8 on this one, because I think we found it was so rich that we wanted people to write their own ones in.
Yeah.
But I've got decompose, or presuppose, P&O, Peter Jones from Dragon's Den, secret code... a weekly show.
Secret Code's good.
Seize the Throne and Speakerphone.
Oh, nice. Let me have a look, because I think I've got this. Oh, yeah, it's right here. I got these old rhyming like
I remember seeing them last time I came round. They're so sick.
So, like, here it is, like, you can see it written.
That's mad that like the first one you picked up had it on.
I know. Piece of rope. Something. Oh, it's just like 18 years old or 19.
Oh
years old.
yeah.
Even though freezing cold. TV show. Leave me alone. Keep it closed. UK TV Gold. I don't know. Don't know why I wrote that.
That was that channel, wasn't it?
Yeah. Catherine Zeta-Jones.
That's nice.
That's good. Speakerphone. You had that, innit?
Me
Beans
and,
on toast.
Yeah.
Leopold.
Oh, Leopold.
Yeah.
Me and...
Oh, this is random. Old Macdonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. But yeah, man, I fucking used to write these old... I've got like loads of these old rhyming... I've shown you these before, but...
Yeah. I don't think I've showed you my first rhyme book, which I found the other day.
Yeah.
Which has some of the worst shit you would ever imagine.
Yeah.
And what's funny is we were probably writing a... I don't know, when was your one from? Do you remember how... You must have been, actually, that would have been like 2006 or 5 or...
Yeah, I'd say 2006, 2007...
So mine's from 2010, and it's shit. Like, I mean, this was 2 years before I started battling, and like, what I think is, like, when I look back at when I first started writing in maybe like 2008, to where I am now, there's a few like moments that I can attribute to getting better, and one of the moments that attributed to me writing better was my first battle with RS, like, and that's trash, don't get me wrong, but like, it's a different kind of trash to what I was writing before. Like, the fact that I had something to focus on in my first battle meant that I started writing punchlines and stuff, and got a bit more clever with just having the pressure of performing live and doing that. That does bring something out of you, I think. The pressure. All I had done before that was the freestyle battle in Ginglick in Shepherd's Bush. Like, apart from that, I'd never performed battle rap or anything like that live. So I think the pressure of that coming up was really, really important. But mate, some of these, I'm doing it on the Patreon at the moment. Actually, I'm going through like, here a couple of pages a day or a couple of pages every few days of my rhyme book, and
I want to actually take your rhyme book and write, because you've got the space underneath to write all the things.
Yeah.
I've written a few down, but I really want to go through every scheme and just like fill up the page as much as I can, so it's just filled with rhymes.
That would be so sick.
Yeah,
I've got that's somewhere else as well, because this is actually like bars and stuff. But I've also got the first version of the rhyme book, of the Advanced Rhyme Dictionary, which I'm going to go through as well. Some of the examples are so shit. Like, this is why it took so long, is because like, I was getting better as I was writing it. So you get 3 years down the line, then you look at the first page and you go, God, I've got to start fucking again because these are so trash. You can keep like two examples from each list.
But you've really broken it down to like a mathematical level, or like a fucking like, when I was writing these rhyme schemes, I never really thought about it, but you've really looked into like the reasons and like the stressed syllables and stuff like that. I never even thought of that as a phrase, a stressed syllable. I just knew it. It was like, I knew my style and how I did it, but I didn't know the reasons or why. Yeah. And like when I read like even your thing that you wrote as the beginning of the book, like explaining it, it kind of explained it to me even though I knew it. Do you know what I mean?
That's so interesting. I think a lot of the time it is in a certain way. It's just like becomes a bit subconscious, and it makes me think sometimes like I really want to know whether other people are conscious of it. I want to know who else thinks of it in the same way I do, and who else thinks of it in the same way that you were, like just something that they do. Like, I wonder if like Dave, who uses a lot of multis, who's a massive name in rap at the moment, I want to know if he's thinking, oh, I'll rhyme this with this because that's multi-syllable and I'm stressing this syllable, or whether he's just going, well, that rhymes and that rhymes, so next. Do you know what I mean? And it's probably the second one.
It probably is the second one, to be honest. But you got to think how much rappers out there are today, and how many of them use multis properly. Like, so it's a thing. Do you know what I mean? And you hear it even like Jay and me say like, these rappers multis. With their multis.
I'm coming with my ABCs.
Yeah. So it is a thing. It's just interesting how people are into rap, know it, but not all people are into rap know it. No. It's just interesting knowing certain people are really know it and are into it, and certain people just like blind, they're almost deaf to it.
Yeah. That's exactly what Sol was saying when I had him on. He was saying like he thinks they're like it's the equivalent of being tone deaf, like just not being able to pick it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nothing satisfies me more than when like someone new comes into like rap and has a really good understanding of Maltese.
Yeah,
but it always, it just makes me really want to talk to them about it and go, what are you thinking when you write down a Maltese? Like, how are you coming up with them? That's an interesting question, actually. Like, how when you're coming up with rhymes for a scheme, like what happens in your brain? Are you conscious enough of it to describe what happens? Like, do you think of a certain part of the term first, or do you just go, what's the whole sound like, or do you start with one syllable, or what goes on?
In my head, I think I'm literally just trying to think of as many as I can. So I'm just like say we're doing freeze and cold. I'm like, do you know what I mean? Dough, Joe, pizza, pizza dough. Do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking of like a lot, but not always. It could be the first one. I'm just like literally just rambling through words. So like even dough. So like I'll usually think of one half of it, and then I'll think of how the other half connects.
Yeah, I think that's basically what I do as well. It's like sometimes. Like, because I do lists, and you know that's different to writing and coming up with schemes that make conversational sense. But when you're coming up with a list of just things, sometimes I will literally get to the point where I have to like put earplugs in and put a blindfold over my head so that I'm just literally sat there in the dark with no sound, and then I'll sit like that for a while, and then I have to sort of like get. If I've got any other things and I need more, then I'll see all those things sort of like bouncing about, and sometimes it just literally just like seeing the words on black in white, sort of right in front of my eyes, going through and just sort of like thinking just like E B D D G V V like going through every single sound. Deebido, leavido, me, you know that
you need to go in like a fucking flotation tank.
Do you know what?
Probably write a new book.
do you know what I want to do is go in one of those noise cancelling rooms.
I've heard
where
about that,
they say it's so quiet you can hear your own blood flow. I would be desperate to do that. I love writing in perfect silence. The amount of times I do that so that I block my ears, like breathe in through my nose, put these on with earplugs in underneath them, so that there's just like no sound can get in.
That's crazy, man.
That's when I have like that's when I will clock the one that I've been trying to clock for. I could try for like 3 hours, and then I'll do that, and then like a couple of minutes later I'll get it, because I need such levels of concentration. I think one of the reasons that like the way I write like I do, and you know the reason that if it goes down well, then it's gone down well because it's never the thing that I think of straight away. It's always the thing that I sat there and fucking spent like a day writing a 4-bar. And like go over and over and over and over and over it, because there'll always be one little syllable that I'm not happy with that I want to restructure. So I spend so much time writing.
Yeah.
I think I don't have that natural rap instinct that a lot of people do. Like I hear Tony D saying like, I started writing this about 3 days before the battle, and it says the same thing. And like I am definitely not got that. I can't do that just
because my anxiety alone. I just can't. I just can't leave it that late.
Like, and the memorization takes me ages.
Exactly.
As well. Like, it takes me so long to remember everything. Like,
and you've only got to choke once to realise you never want to do that again.
Oh mate, it was I remember you in your in the history of your battle track where you had the choke against DK, and I went back to watch it. It's not even that bad of a choke. Like it's not.
No, do you know what? It seems like
it's not that bad.
It seemed like a bigger deal at the time because there wasn't as many battles. That was the first Don't Flop, the video on the Don't Flop channel. That was the first Don't Flop channel. So choking back then seemed a lot more of a big deal, especially because it was new in the written era. It was still a mix between freestyle and written. And so to choke was a really big deal. So it felt like a huge deal. But I know that there's been a lot worse since then. Yeah, but watching yourself, it's always going to be the worst person to watch it. Yeah.
I choked against Jack Sexton.
I'd watch that one and not really think that much of it and think, no, that's calm, that's not even that bad. But then you'd probably feel the same way about my choke, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it really lives in my head. Like, that changed the way I thought about memorization and the techniques I put on top of it to like make sure that I remembered every single word.
Yeah. That embarrassment, that is the worst feeling in the world.
And the feeling of like, I've got this sort of like feeling that I'm a lot of the time, especially back then, that I'm sort of in a place that I don't really belong. Like, you know, this is not my culture. This is not my like. I didn't grow up doing this. I sort of came in quite late, and so when you're caught out and you choke, it's sort of like fuck all those things that people say about you. Like, you know, what you're doing in this. It just comes true, and you think it's real, and so
your inner mind starts going
awful stuff.
I hate that when you start thinking like during a battle, and you're like suddenly like in your mind and stuff, and you're like thinking about maybe that didn't go down. Like your brain your inner dialogue, and it's like interrupting you and disturbing you from your. Yeah. You just need to be in the zone.
You need to.
And then if you start doubting yourself, that's when it all starts crumbling.
Yeah, you need to be reciting your stuff like it's doing the alphabet, like it's just automatic. And so as soon as you start thinking something else, you're like, no, do not take me off this track. I am very focused right now. And you're like talking to yourself, like having a go.
That's why I've always found it too risky to do flips. Like, I've done a couple flips, but like not as much as I'd like to. But I'm always just way too scared of doing a flip, and then my brain is too thinking about the flip so much that I forget what my verse is.
I because of the way that I remember stuff now, I'm not bad with like doing that. It doesn't throw me off that much, but only because I have like a thorough story. I think I've told you this before. Like I've got like all the rhymes. I've got a story in my head that I go through, and I know where it starts and I know where it ends.
That's a great technique.
Yeah, it works so well for me. And after a while, like obviously you learn it the traditional way anyway. Yeah. Just from going through it so many times, but you've got to have like a fail safe in the background. So that if
I always did that as well. I connected the bars by like making up a visual in my head and just combining them, even if they're random. Because I heard about Darren Brown doing something like that.
The Memory Palace, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's a really good technique. There's loads of different techniques though. I think people do like drawing pictures and stuff. Yeah. I remember Archaic showing me like his bars for a thing, and they were all images.
Yeah.
Because they just all connected, so he just could remember the rhyme from the images.
Yeah.
So there's different techniques, and I could see that visual way really working as well.
Yeah, it works for me so well. Like,
I think Math said he used to like draw as well.
Oh really?
Math Offer, yeah. Draw his lyrics and shit to remember them.
That's something that always interests me as well. Is like the idea of like the tough guys in battle rap.
Yeah.
Like URL being just like one big tough guy fucking bonanza. Yeah. The image of them remembering their bars is really funny to me. Just like sitting down and going, I need to talk here, but I'm gonna AK-47. I don't know. How do you know? Thinking about the process of looking cool is just so interesting to me.
All whispering to yourself and shit in a corner, pacing up and down. Oh man.
But yeah, that's beaut, mate. Well, look, I think we've gone through a few really good examples of stuff here.
Is that what it's been? Oh, an hour's already gone by. Really,
it's been an hour, yeah.
Yeah. That's dope to hear that you're battling Soul, by the way.
Yeah, mate.
I was like hyped when I heard that.
Do you know what? I was actually hungover yesterday as well. I've had a couple of days on it, and I'd been a bit like stumped on what I was going to write for him, but my hangover brain yesterday just like wrote half a round of ideas that I was just like, oh fuck, of course I should say this, and that got me so excited to do it. I cannot wait for this battle.
Yeah. Was that confirmed after your podcast?
No, it was before. Do you know what was funny? It got confirmed about a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking of like, oh, who else would I like to get on the thing? And then I was like, oh, of course, Soul would be great. And so I asked him, and then as soon as I asked him, I was like, this is going to look like a technique or something, like I'm trying to get dirt on him. Yeah. And I was like, I completely forgot that we were battling like a day after it happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait for that battle. I think it's just going to be really fun. I hope it's just going to be a really fun battle where we just sort of like rib each other. There's like a bit of seriousness. Anyway, I don't want to give too much away, but like I think it'll be really good.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And hopefully that Harry Baker battle still happens as well. I'm meant to be battling Harry Baker.
Yeah,
in
100%. Yeah, I think we're trying to. I think they're going to rearrange it for. I don't know when it's going to be rearranged for, but obviously because it was meant to go down, and then all this COVID shit happened.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably going to be pushed back, but I don't know what the plan is so far.
Well, that's all good. That'll be.
But really that's going to be another amazing one.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one either. I haven't
seen Harry Baker in a battle for a long while as well, so you could see him back.
That'll be really good.
Yeah.
Right, okay, all that's left is for me to read out the questions for next week's rhyme challenge.
Okay.
So let me just do that.
Am I supposed to keep quiet in this bit?
Yeah, you don't answer them because
Okay.
I'll ruin it
That'll
for
ruin
everyone
it.
but have a think anyway. Have a think and
Okay,
see
yeah.
if you can get them. All right. So, okay, here we go. So this is the rhyme challenge for episode. I don't know why I'm saying that. Right. Okay. So the number one is crack a smile, and the clue is tea. All right. Crack a smile, and the clue is tea. You got that one, have you? I'm gonna after this. I'm gonna test you and see how many you got.
Okay.
All right. Then number two is animal hide. And the clue is carpool. The carpool lane. All right.
Okay, got it.
Oh, very confident. Number three is amateurism, and the clue is house extension. So amateurism and house extension.
Don't have that one.
Number four is stepladder, and the clue is. I bet you've already got about 3 or 4 in your head, Fred. I bet, as soon as I said stepladder, I think that's one of those schemes that everyone's had a think on. So, and the clue is heavy tool.
I got it.
Number 5 is bear tamer, and the clue is janitor. That's quite. I reckon you'll get that straight away.
No,
I reckon
actually.
everyone will. Oh, really? That's interesting. All right. Number 6 is.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Secret Santa. And the clue is ancient Egypt. So Secret Santa and ancient Egypt. Fucking hell. Alright, and the next one is the same. It's basically the same scheme, but with an extra bit at the end. So it's Evening Standard. And the clue is a summer dish. And then I love that rhyme scheme.
Oh yeah, I got it.
You got it. Oh, fucking hell. Alright. You didn't get any of the other ones earlier. What's
I
happening?
know.
And then number 8. This is an immediate one. So it's seatbelt. And the clue is rap group.
Got that.
Yeah. Did you get it before I gave you the clue?
Yeah, it was first from the box I had.
Alright, and then number 9 is sea serpent. And the clue is nature's doctor. Now that's quite a cryptic one. And I remember doing this on the Patreon. And everyone got it, but it took them the full 3 days pretty much to get that one. So sea serpent and nature's doctor.
Oh, I think I got it.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Oh, nice.
We'll check afterwards.
Yeah. And then number 10 is blood sugar, and the clue is speaker. Blood
Don't
sugar
have that one.
and speaker. You'll kick yourself on that one, I reckon, if you don't get it. But yeah, wicked. Well, look, mate, thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
This has been really good, and I'm glad that we talked about all kinds of shit and not just Pat's Day.
Yeah.
I will try to get Pat on. I think it would be really good if we could, and I'd be really interested to hear who his favourite battle rapper is as well. Actually.
Yeah.
It might end up being like Hollow Da Don or someone like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much, mate. Thank you everyone for listening. As always, buy my fucking book, The Advanced Rhyming Dictionary, shuffle-t.com/shop. Here it is, look at that. Join my Patreon, patreon.com/shuffle_t for battle rap breakdowns, revisiting old shit material that I wrote back in 2010, daily, every 3 daily rhyme challenges, and loads of stuff more, tracks that I haven't released and all that kind of crap. What else do I need to plug? I don't know. Just go fuck yourselves, everyone. I love you very much. You're good boys and girls, so keep it up. Thank you very much. Catch you soon, everyone. Bye.